Welcome back to On the Shelf Gaming.
We're fishing still.
Hell yeah, we're having a lot of fun just talking. I don't know, bro. This is gonna sound really sappy, but I feel like you and I don't talk enough. And I don't mean in the sense of like you and I don't hang out, because we hang out not an insignificant amount, sure. Like week to week. But like I don't know, you and I are always doing something. Like rarely do we ever have the opportunity to really actually just sit down and like
talk about stuff.
Right, about whatever. Because, like, even when we're recording on the Shelf Gaming like we are now, we usually gotta, like, try to keep it funny or, like, talk about the game. But I don't know. This kind of gives podcast vibes. So I just feel like we can talk about whatever the fuck we want.
That's true. I actually, and this is a terrible idea because for any just regular people, starting a podcast is probably a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. But I have been watching TikToks with Finn because Finn watches a lot of TikToks. And one thing that comes up constantly are these two guys who I don't remember the name of their podcast. But I mean, all they do is they sit in the room with the two microphones, two cameras pointed at them, and I guess probably a third camera that's like
catch the middle
where you can see them both. Yeah. And that's it. That's the whole setup. They sit down and they talk about stuff. As far as I can gather, I've never listened to the actual podcast. I've seen clips from the podcast that are funny. And it's like, man, you and I could sit in chairs and talk about stuff, and if something exceptionally funny happens, turn it into a TikTok. Like, that seems so easy. And not to say that it's that much different in a lot of ways from what we do at On the Shelf Gaming, because, like, obviously there's plenty of just random assorted bullshit that happens here too, but like there is kind of a through line that exists when you're playing a video game,
right? That
is the video game.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, it feels weird because it's like the idea is obviously the idea with like successful Let's Players is like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what they play, you're gonna watch for the Let's Players. But we're not at that level.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and that's not even to be a downer. Like, no, we look at our analytics. Like, if the game we're playing isn't interesting,
then people aren't going to watch it.
Right. We don't have that gravitas.
And really, that's kind of the thing with almost everybody anymore is like, Let's Plays are much more, at least currently, game dominated than they are personality dominated.
Right.
Which is totally different, even from when I first got into Let's Plays, because it's like at the time, you know, people who fucking love PewDiePie and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and the Game Grumps, there might be games that they were disinterested in enough to not watch. But the default is I will watch this unless I just dislike the game and don't want to. Versus in the modern day with most Let's Players, it's I won't watch it unless the game is something I'm interested in, which is not, you know, an inherently better or worse thing. It just
it's just the
six
way
one way, half a dozen the other. It's
just how the market is right now,
right? But so at one point in time, it was all about building up like your personal brand or whatever you want to call it, and now it really is just play the right game. And is Fishing Simulator the right game? Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, I guess we'll find out when these episodes go out.
Well, that's true. If you're the millionth person watching this video, thanks for watching. We really appreciate you. What caused you to click on it? Was it the fact that it had 999,999 views already? Because that's fair.
Oh, yeah. I want to be the millionth something.
No, absolutely. I've never been the millionth anything, probably. All right, well, next time on Shelf Gaming.
God. I don't ask a conversation topic. I'm just fishing.
Hell yeah, bro. Who cares if a fish hits your line and you don't see it and we miss out on big money, big fish, big opportunities?
It didn't happen. Anyway, so speaking of podcasts, what is a topic that you feel like you are like the most qualified to go on a podcast as the expert about? Something you could talk about at length with authority,
right?
For like hour, 2 hours. I don't know. What's that thing for you?
I don't know. I don't know that such a thing exists for me. I don't think I have enough expertise on literally any specific subject to be
like the expert,
to be qualified.
What's the closest thing? I feel like it's got to be classic rock.
Yeah, maybe.
You just I don't know... I know bands. I don't know the members of bands. I don't know albums. I don't know release dates. I don't know former members of bands when the bands first formed, when they joined and have a different lineup. But you do. You know all that shit. And so I definitely think that'd be one thing you could go onto a podcast and talk about, is just classic rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. If tomorrow Joe Rogan had called and was like, hey, listen, I need somebody to talk about music, and you've got long hair and are on the internet, so we're bringing you in. I feel like I could bullshit enough stuff to complete an episode of
the Joe Rogan experience
without just looking like a complete dumbass. No guarantees on that.
Right.
Depends on what Joe says, if we're being real.
Right.
Because the moment he brings up one of the many, many blind spots I have in my classic rock, like, knowledge base, we're fucked.
That's fair. I don't know. For me, the closest ones I have, I feel like I could talk a lot about pro wrestling.
That's fair.
I could talk a lot about bears. I like bears a lot. And then, I don't know, just film. Like, not necessarily like the greater aspects of film history, but just like making a film. I have a pretty wide net on that.
That's fair. I feel like the issue you'd run into on the Bears one specifically is theoretical Joe Rogan. It doesn't have to be the Joe Rogan Experience. It's just like the podcast.
It's the biggest podcast in the world.
Right. It's the podcast I think of when people talk about podcasts, because it's like the podcast and has been for a while now. But it's like, with Bears, you're going to be on a fucking roll, and then 10 minutes in, Joe's like, so how was it the first time you, like, physically got to mess with a bear? And you have to be like, oh, well, I'm kind of like a book bear expert, not like a hands-on bear expert. And he's like, oh.
More of an armchair bear guy. I don't know.
Like, that could be the same kind of thing with, like, knowing a lot of stuff about, like, classic rock. It's like, what experience do I have with classic rock stuff?
So
Nothing.
You've met Sam Perry, right? Or Steve Perry, right?
No.
No.
Met Mark Slaughter.
Yeah, your close personal friend Mark Slaughter.
Yeah, love that guy. Unless he's done anything bad, then I hate him.
And he's not my close personal friend.
No, not even a little bit. Unless he hasn't, then he is.
Sacred, get that picture of him pointing at me out of here.
That's so funny to me, too, because that was the very first concert that Sarah and I ever went to see together. On back-to-back nights, we saw... the first night, we saw Slaughter open, and Great White played after them. And then the next night, Vixen opened, and Kix played after them. So when that picture was taken, we'd only seen one of those four bands so far. It was during the intermission while they were tearing down the stage for Slaughter and putting up the stage for Great White. And Sarah was like, I want to go buy merch, which I fucking never do at concerts, A, because it's a ripoff cost-wise.
Oh, I know.
But if you try to go before the show, unless you're super duper fucking early, you're not going to be able to get anywher close to it. Of course, I don't want to do it during the show.
Right. There's a concert happening.
Right. And, like, at the particular venue that I like to go to the most, merchandise is outside of the main concert area. Not just, like, because there's the actual area itself where the concert takes place, but you can, like, go through some doors and where you buy drinks and snacks and stuff. You have to go out of that area, back through the metal detectors and shit to get to the merch stand. And it's like, I don't want to do all that. And in some of those shows, they don't let you back in once you've exited. So I really don't want to do it on one of those and not realize that that's what I've done. And so then your last option, of course, is, well, I'll buy it after the show. Well, A, by that time, the odds that they'll have anything good left are not very good. Mm-hmm. And B, you're right back to, it's almost impossible to get to the front to get something. So I just don't deal with the hassle. But Sarah really wanted something. And, of course, you know, you're a wife guy.
Yeah.
I was, well, not a wife guy yet at that time, because we weren't married yet, but I was a girlfriend guy for sure, even at that point in time.
Right.
And so when she wanted to go do that, we went and did that. Well, we got in line for what we thought was the merch line. Well, it turns out there was no merch line. This line was the line to meet Mark Slaughter for people who had paid for the special whatever tickets, where you got to wait in line and then get to his table and he gave you an autograph and you got a picture with him and all that good stuff. And we didn't have those.
Does no one stop you?
No, obviously we got the pictures
yeah.
and stuff, so clearly we weren't, but they had no way of knowing that we weren't the right people, and we didn't realize it was the line to meet him until we were almost to the front.
Right, and you're like, is that fucking Mark Slaughter?
Right, it's like, why is he running the merch stand?
Damn, hard times, huh?
He's not. He's got his own separate table. It's like right next to the merch stand, or like right in front of the merch stand, if he had an issue with it, because, you had to have the little thingy. And that's what he was signing for pretty much everybody. So he probably realized that we weren't supposed to be there. But it's one of those things, like, what are you going to do? Say, hey, you're not supposed to be here, I'm not meeting you?
Right.
You're already talking to us. It'd be quicker and easier for everybody if you just give us a picture and say, thanks for coming to the show, really appreciate it.
Right.
So, and I appreciated that.
That's why he's our close personal friend, Mark Slaughter.
Exactly. Him and I, bros for life, unless we're not. But I will say, my close personal friend, Mark Slaughter, well, I was going to say he still got it. That was like 7 years ago, so maybe he doesn't still have it now. At least 7 years ago, he still had it. He was just as good as ever, which is not something you can say about everyone I've ever seen.
Who else is on your list of, old guys you want to go see before they die? Obviously, you want to go see every old fucking rock star before they die, but,
sure.
Who's top of the list? You need to go see this guy before you die.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Because a lot of the people who I thought would have been there, I had the opportunity and I didn't actually take it. Because it's for a long time I thought, oh man, if I could go see Paul McCartney, I'd definitely take that opportunity. And then I have had opportunities. He's come close to us and I was like, man, it's just not worth it.
Right.
Because of course he's playing fucking stadiums every show that he plays.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna pay
no casino shows for Paul McCartney.
Right. So you're gonna pay a fucking fortune to not be able to see anything. And it was the same kind of deal when Ozzy was initially announced No More Tours 2. Not that it mattered, because I don't think he ever played any of the shows that were close to us. But I was like, oh man, I would super want to go see that. But it's like, man, I know that his voice is shot. It's been shot for 20 years at that point.
Right.
So maybe I don't want to hassle with it, especially because, again, these are primarily stadium shows that are going to cost us a fucking fortune. And so when I think of the people who I'm like, oh man, those are people I absolutely have to fucking see, I don't know that there's anybody who meets those criteria who is also actually touring.
Right.
Because, the only person I can think of, I'm like, oh, no, if they played a show, I'd have to go see it, is Steve Perry.
Right.
And with him, it wouldn't matter where it was. If he was playing a show in San Francisco and he was like, this is a one-time only show and it's going to cost $1,000 a ticket, I'd be like, well, I got to get to San Francisco because I already bought my ticket, so I'm not going to not see it.
Sacred, watch my mail. I'm going to San Francisco.
Right, exactly. But it's is there anybody else like that? I don't know. Because, Crandon got to go see Elton John a while back.
Did he?
I was jealous. Yeah. Huh. It's been quite a while now, I think. Over a year. But that was super cool, and I was jealous. I wanted to go see Elton John, but it's did I want to go see Elton John bad enough to go see him? Obviously not, because I knew the show was a thing that was going to happen, and I didn't go. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough being a classic rock fan, knowing that those guys could die at literally any time.
Right.
And also being like, man, but I just don't know that I want to spend that kind of money to see them. Especially now, because things are so fucking backwards. It's before COVID hit, Rat had announced a tour, and I forget who all was going to be there. I know for sure Tom Kiefer was on the tour, and I think it was Skid Row was going to be there, but it might have been that Sebastian Bach from Skid Row was going to be there. I forget. And then there was another fourth band who was also going to play. And, the tickets weren't nothing, but they weren't completely insane. And it's to go see Tom Kiefer, who at that point I hadn't seen yet, Rat, who I will never get to see, presumably, because they don't tour anymore.
Right.
Either Skid Row or Sebastian Bach, whichever one. Haven't seen them as of this time. And I want to say the other one might have been Tesla, maybe. But whoever it was, regardless if I'd have seen them or not, this is 3 people for a not completely unreasonable price that I haven't ever seen, and either a 4th person I haven't seen or someone who I have seen and I liked. So, no brainer to want to go. I bet those same tickets, if they tried to put that same tour together now, would be at least 4 times as much.
Oh, almost certainly.
Well, because it's like when I went and saw Journey, they had planned to do a show in 2020 that, of course, got canceled, as many shows did. Basically, all of them.
Yeah, a lot of things went that way
at the casino, and I bought front row seats for me, Sarah, my little brother, and his wife. And for those seats all together with all the fees and taxes and everything, I think I paid like $600 total for those 4 tickets.
Not bad for a Journey show.
Yeah. Well, when Sarah and I went, I bought tickets the day of the show because the day of the show they chopped the price in half. The seats for the 4 of us that I'd had for the show that got canceled, those were front row tickets, off to the side, but they were in the front row. And I've been on the side at the venue. It's still a really good seat. And the seats that I bought for Sarah and I, they were half their initial face value price. Only because they'd sold every seat in the entire venue that was not a single seat. And so to get rid of these singles, try to pick off a few stragglers, they cut the price in half. I paid as much for those tickets where we didn't even get to sit next to each other when they were half price as I had paid for our share of the tickets to the original show. I paid almost $150 a piece for worse seats that aren't together at a show where they were originally like closer to $300. And that's just absolutely insane. Now granted, it's like I may never get another chance to see Journey because all these guys are super old, and if one of the main guys dies, they may just call it.
Right.
And it's just one of those things. It's like you have no way to know. And some of those guys live to be 90 years old and continue to tour. Some of those guys die at 40.
Right.
And I mean, obviously they're not going to die at 40 because they're all older than that now, but that doesn't guarantee tomorrow. And I was like, fuck it, I got to go see him. And I took the risk and went. And it was a good show. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I regret having gone, because I definitely don't. But with so many shows, they're ridiculous. It's like when Motley Crue and Def Leppard and Poison and Joan Jett went out. Mm-hmm. They were doing a stadium tour. Of course, again, stadiums, terrible venues for concerts because you're not going to be able to fucking see anything unless you pay a fuck ton of money. And at that point in time, I had enough money saved that I could have got Sarah and I like decent seats. But they're just so... It was just comical. It's like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, I can't justify spending, like, $2,000 to get a seat where I'll vaguely be able to see at this stadium, assuming that there's no one taller than us.
Right.
In between us and the stage. Yeah, it just... I think I'm pretty well set on the venues that I'm going to see concerts at ever again.
Right.
At least unless I ever leave this area. Because the 2 casino venues, I would definitely go to either of them. And then there's a couple down in the Metroplex that I've gone to, and I would definitely go. And they're like little arenas. Mm-hmm. So those ones are pretty good too. But I can't justify the cost or what you're going to get. Well, it's the same kind of thing when we talk about, like, man, it'd be cool to go to WrestleMania, which it would be, don't get me wrong.
Super dope.
But also, I'm not going to spend that kind of money to not be able to fucking see anything anyway when we could get... Well, I mean, I guess now we could. And I was going to say we can just get Peacock and watch it.
Yeah, not anymore. $30 a month, ESPN. Please.
But still, for $30, you and I can both watch it from the comfort of your couch. Whereas, for $30, we couldn't even drive to WrestleMania if it was in Dallas.
Right. God, it's so fucking ridiculous. And did you see some of the... I don't remember what package it was, but it was one of the cheaper packages, where it was one of the cheaper, like, family value packages, and for a little over $30,000, you got the VIP experience which included meeting 3 fucking nobodies from catering.
Right.
Like, all I remember is BFAB. And then I don't remember anyone else. And it's ridiculous. And I remember, like, after this last WrestleMania, a video came out where, like, someone met Randy Orton at the hotel randomly. And Randy was just talking to him, chatting him up, like, how'd you enjoy the week? That was the weekend and all that. How are your seats? And they tell him that they weren't in super good seats, and they paid, like, $20,000. And even Randy was like, oh, damn, you wasted your money.
Yeah. I can't imagine, really, I can't imagine going to see a wrestling show, like, literally at all. Well, not a wrestling show, a WWE show specifically. Because it's like, what show do you want to see more than anything else? WrestleMania.
Right.
No brainer. It's like, okay, that's off the table. Those are too expensive. And besides that, you're not going to get a good seat anyway. Even if you pay quite a bit of money. Because it's in a stadium. So unless you're just super close, your seat is going to suck.
Right.
So we downgrade. We'll go to one of the major pay-per-views. Oh, wait, stuff like the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, those are ungodly expensive, too.
Right.
Even if they are held in arenas, you're still going to pay a fucking fortune. Well, I can't afford that still. So maybe we'll go to, like, one of the B-tier pay-per-views. Oh, those are also really expensive. Maybe you should go to, like, Raw or SmackDown. No. Not
also
unless you're willing to pay an arm and a leg. Well, fine. We'll go to a house show.
They don't do those anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't hardly get those, at least not like back in the day, it doesn't seem. And even if you can, you know, who fucking knows what you're going to get when you get there?
Oh, yeah.
And you're still, like, yeah, you're not going to pay an arm and a leg, you just have to pay the leg.
Right.
Like, that's not exactly a fix for the problem, per se.
Right. That's it. And this was a couple years ago, so I'm sure things have only gotten worse. I mean, I know things have only gotten worse. But I've been to 2 WWE shows in my life. My parents took me to Raw, and I don't know what my dad did, because it was like a surprise. So I don't know what my dad paid for Raw tickets. But I'm sure it was expensive as hell. Because, you know what we never did again? Go to a fucking WWE show. Yeah, my dad took me and my mom to Raw. And I'm sure that was astronomically expensive because we were in Key Arena in Seattle, which is right next to the Space Needle. So it's always a really expensive venue anyway. And then I took Elizabeth, when I was in high school, I took Elizabeth to a house show that was happening like really close, all things considered. And that cost about $350 for 2 tickets. And granted, we were on the floor, but it was mostly floor seating.
Right.
And we were not, like, in the front. We were definitely a few rows back to the point where, like, if you wanted to see what was happening, you had either no one had to be standing up or you had to be standing up.
Right.
And yeah, that was definitely not worth it because the house show, they were fun matches, but I think, like, the star power highlight was Kevin Owens was in the main event. With, like, 3 other not main event guys.
Right. See, and that's the rough thing about, like, going to a modern WWE house show, is, like, because they've always, like, split their brand up so they could run, like, different areas and do different things.
Right.
But, like, you just... There's no guarantees of who's going to be there. Even if you think you know who should be there, anything can still happen. If I, this month... know that, CM Punk is going to be at a particular show. Oh no, a week before the show he tore his knee, and so he's not going to be there. And he was the only person who was going to be at that show that I really cared about. Which, I mean, part of that issue is just straight up that I don't really watch the WWE anymore on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the newer people, I am more invested now since we've been watching the pay-per-views, but of course that's over now.
Yeah.
So, investment complete.
I didn't want to see AJ Lee wrestle anyway.
Yeah, hate that lady. She was the worst. I definitely didn't enjoy any of the stuff that she did, because, I mean, she debuted not long after I started watching, and was in a feud that had involved CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, which was a great feud. Didn't care about it.
No,
nobody likes those guys. Those guys are small. You know who I like? Really big guys.
Hell yeah.
Man, when the Great Khali house show?
I think I said win Great Khali on the show, and I'm like, granted, he's not doing much anymore.
Win Great Khali on the show! Khali, if you're out there, I know you're watching.
I'd click on a random fucking Let's Play episode if it says, featuring the great Khali.
Oh, for sure.
Do you think that would work? Do you think if we put that in the episode? Like, if we put that in the episode, in the title of this episode, featuring the great Khali.
Here is the thing. When Crandon and I played Ocarina of Time, and Crandon was making the jokes about the Deku Tree, Justin Briner.
Yeah.
And I titled Part 1, starring Justin Briner as the Deku Tree. It did huge numbers immediately. I mean, huge. For us, huge numbers. Got hundreds of views. So it's like just slapping a celebrity name in there, which, I mean, granted.
It's the great Khali.
But, let's be real. Great Khali probably has 100 times the name recognition
that Justin Briner has.
Yeah. So, like, it could work, bro. I don't know, if you clicked on this video and for some reason you're still here, the Great Khali is not actually here. I don't know if you realized that part yet. But if you clicked on it because the title is something about the Great Khali.
Featuring the Great Khali.
Yeah. If you clicked on it because of that, did it work? I guess so.
You can't get mad. You see how many fucking subscribers we have? You think the Great Khali is going to be on our show? If you're watching this video when we have 2 million subscribers, you know what? Feel free to get pissed. But as of time of recording, it's like 500 something. It's more on you than us. Anyway.
I'm going to do like a Great Khali impression. I don't even know what he sounds like.
Same, he never did promos. I'm afraid anything I would if I tried to do a Great Khali impression right now, it would just be really racist.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Next time on Unshelf Gaming, perhaps we will. We won't.
Yeah, we won't.
Fishing Simulator is probably over.
Oh, well, last fish for the road?
Oh, hell yeah!
If it's a Cruisian carp again, we're never playing another episode of this, unless people really want it.
Come on, reel that baby in.
Come on, end us on a high note. End us on a high note. Well, I said what I said.
Wait, look at how much bigger it is than the last two.
That's true. We're on the upswing, bro. Woo! Next time on Fishing Sim. Maybe I'm not going to hold us to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. I don't know. I could see us bringing back Fishing Simulator someday.
Hell yeah.